Live. I think we are live. Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, daily updates. Then make sure you check out all these guys' channels. I'm sure you already watched them. We got Keith from 93 Lumber, Matt from Massive Beer Reviews, and Joe from the Beer Patrol. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on?
Too much, too much. We were just talking about the weather for people who are watching, and some crazy weather. Some matches got powered back and jumped on the live stream. Priorities were straight. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, one of the coolest things, dude, like, and I said it last night in my live stream, is like, you know, I when I was a kid, I'm right out of high school, like, we had a snowfall where I lived. We legitimately, like, you can go look online, you can see it. We got 48 inches of snow in 2 days. So we got, I mean, where you live, Kyle, it's kind of like a little bit like that up there, but it was insane. And we lost power for a week and a half. And we didn't have power for a whole week and a half. And it was like, you know, it sucked. But we figured it out. Like, I lost power for a day, and I'm like, I'm streaming on YouTube. I'm watching all my TV shows. Like, back then, it was like, let's play jacks or rub some sticks together for fun. Like, now it's like I'm watching all. Nothing happened to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I did beer reviews. I watched TV. I did whatever I wanted. Whatever I wanted. Technology is amazing.
It is. Well, when it works, it is amazing.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, so I think we have to talk about what we're drinking first before we can talk about anything else. So, Joe, you were talking a little bit before we started recording. What are you drinking?
Well, I've never had a Fox Farm beer. You know, I know Matt's had probably somewhere around 6,000 of them. But I got their Tangle Double IPA courtesy of Steven, who viewer of Matt's channel, who came to Beer Tuber Palooza. It's great because it says keep cold and drink fresh. And I did one of those. I don't know which one, but this was canned on May 5th. So I figured a 4-month-old IPA would be perfect for the topic of today's show from a brewery that I've never had anything from before.
And so, full disclosure, it's Paul's Fox Farm, not your Fox Farm.
As far as what Steven relayed to me when he was on the murder house couch staying overnight, he said that it was for whoever showed up. So okay. It did have PA Brew News on the box, but that was because he was under the assumption that Paul was going to show up. Sucks for him, I guess, really is what it comes down to. But yeah, I mean, there was some older stuff in there, and Steven has told Kyle, you know, you don't have to review everything. So I figured if this is the first time I'm having a Fox Farm beer, I don't think I should review something that's 4 months old that's supposed to be keep cold and drink fresh. So, and I thought it'd be perfect for this whole thing. So that's why I cracked it open. But thank you to Steven.
Hey, speaking of Steven. Oops. All right.
There's the man himself.
There he is.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, good luck on your draft.
I literally just finished mine like an hour ago.
Nice. I got mine this weekend, so.
Steven, I hope you're enjoying your day. You know what I mean? All right. Matt, what are you drinking?
I am finishing up. There's not much left of it. The Seed, which is the best brewery in the United States, apparently. They got voted the best new brewery in the United States. It is it's their Fest Beer Dunkel at 5.4%. Yeah, quite dark for a Fest beer. Even though you write Dunkel in front of it, you can't be like, you know, like dark pale ale. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, it's tasty AF. So there you go.
I don't know how you're voted the best brewery in America making a style like that. It's interesting.
You're voted the best brewery, best new brewery in America.
The
best brewery, and they make good beer. You know,
they posted something yesterday. They're making a Roche beer, so that's probably what pushed that over the edge a little bit.
I mean, I'm all about it, but that's not what that is.
Is there a Razzies version of beer? Because then now they'll get the Razzie because they made the smoke beer.
Dan, I really like you and Mike a lot. Like, you're great dudes, but like, I only do this for Kyle. That's I'm sorry. It's just what it is.
Too funny. And Keith, what are you drinking, man?
I picked this up right before on my way home, like 2 hours ago. It is Drownlands. It is their Gather House. It is an unfiltered wit beer.
Ooh.
It is 4.8% alcohol by volume. I paid $13 for a 4-pack, which is crazy.
What?
It's crazy.
They still do that?
Not at the brewery.
No, at Liquor Factory right up here.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That at the brewery is going to be $18.99.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
why is Drownland's known to?
Oh, Drownlands don't fuck around, dude.
Yeah, no.
I
I
think
think they charge more at their brewery.
No, I don't know. I don't know if this is just old and they're just like,
Yeah,
all right, it's
that's what I'm guessing
$18
because
now.
I've never seen anything less than like $14 for a 4-pack at
Yeah.
Drownlands. So my guess
Yeah.
is that it sat there pooped up in the fridge for a minute, and I said, "Yeah, get rid of it."
Are they like Pizza Boy?
No, because Pizza Boy. So Pizza Boy is like if beer was Coke on Coke, and Drownlands is like beer was the Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe, man, people are mad at you. I'm drinking water at work. I'm really. I'm glad.
You said people. It's just Dan and Mike.
Well, they are two humans, and I think people fits.
I got my setup all fucking ready to go. Oh, that's one PG-13 done cut. One F-bomb. That's it per stream on College Channel. But I got it all set up, and yeah, I'm ready to come back and do stuff. So.
And Joe, you were telling me offline, this is your first time doing a live stream in how long?
So the last time I live streamed on my channel was July 8th, 2019. I go so far back that StreamYard wasn't even a thing that anyone cared about back then. The last time I streamed online on anybody's channel was G Plus Hangouts, if anyone remembers that.
And but big ups to G Plus Hangouts. Yeah. It was way better than everything that StreamYard does. Like, not even funny how much better.
It was so seamless too. Like, it was super easy to use, and it was just like, that's how far back that I go as far as live streams. So.
Then wait, no bottle. How would you know if the water content is good or bad or fresh or drain pourable? Interesting. And Joe is back. Joe is dipping his toe.
Literally just the toe on my severely sprained ankle. Just dipping it back in there.
Joe, do you want to talk about that at all, or you want to save it? I know you have.
Oh, I mean, So basically, it's Kyle's channel, so obviously not everyone follows me that follows you. I know we do have overlapping viewers and whatnot, but I had open heart surgery back in June. It's been about 2.5 months or so, and I should be bringing back my channel later this month. I start to feel good, trying to figure out, the post-surgery world for myself, because I'm on blood thinners and stuff, and a lot of things go in with beers. There's no longer, if I just want to get shitty one night, that's just not what I can do. Like, it's just not a thing. So, it's going to be a little bit more scheduled for my stuff and how I do stuff. And, but yeah, everything should be coming back soon. I plan on next week to do like a live vlog to kind of recap everything that's happened the last couple months for me. So, be on the lookout for that. That's about it though.
Nice, yeah. Little teaser trailer for the big live stream. That's awesome. Actually, the beer I'm drinking is courtesy of Joe. It's a Treehouse beer, and just thought, given the topic. The topic comes courtesy of Thomas Opent. And we can talk about lots of things, but just to have one thing for sure we talk about, and I know we've talked about this on camera, off camera, this like obsession I think some people have. Yeah, it was that. I think Keith was moving something. Oh, sorry. It's all right. With like super fresh IPAs, like IPAs have to be. I mean, I joke like the day they're canned, they're no good anymore. But like, I think some people. I've told this story many times. I'll make it quick. But the first time it like dawned on me was I had gotten some Heady Topper on the Saturday it came out. And Monday, talked to someone in California about doing a trade, and they're like, "By the time it gets here, it'll be Friday. It'll be almost a week old. I don't want it." It's like, what? How out?
What?
But that was like the first time I put in my head. I'm like, that's how intense some people. And listen, I've gotten into like fresh, like the first, if it's a month, what are you doing? And definitely, just to get the conversation started, have had many IPAs that were plenty delicious. A month, 2 months, 3 months, but maybe it's starting to turn into a little bit different of a beer. 4 months, I mean, and I'm talking New England style IPAs, West Coast IPAs. So, yeah, just me getting the conversation going a little bit about this topic.
I have nothing to say. So
Nothing to say. Okay, so that was the topic in the title, and now we'll talk about something else.
I actually have like a whole big spiel to go, but I'll let everybody else talk first because I always talk too much.
Well, Joe, you have an interesting thing you could talk about right now. Is you did not have that beer fresh,
Yeah.
but with its age now, like what's obvious about that experience where like this isn't as fresh? Like I have some guesses.
It's number one, it's malt forward.
Yeah, that'll be my first guess.
I mean, there's still hops, and you can still tell that at its core, it's a double IPA of some sort. But if I was doing this blind, and I'm the king of the mystery beers, clearly we've established this over the past month or so.
Well, one person established that.
Yeah, one person. Yeah, he basically declared me king of the mystery beers, so therefore it is the truth. But no, because I've drank enough double IPAs, and I know what an aged one typically in the New England style or hazy style. This is definitely, I would say, doing this blind, I would say this is at least 3 months old, and it's 4 months old, and you can tell. I mean, it's a little bit more malt forward. Honestly, the alcohol's a little bit coming to it's 7.8%. How many times do you guys drink 7.5%, 8% double IPAs or imperial IPAs nowadays? Do you taste the alcohol in 7.8% hazy? It's rare. It doesn't happen often, right? And I can tell that it has alcohol in it.
Interesting.
And I've had older IPAs that have this exact characteristic, right? But I've also had 6-month-old IPAs from, say, Other Half, the shelfies of FLX guys. And I've drank those 6 months old, and they taste like they did at 6 weeks old. Like, it's ridiculous how they age. I don't know enough about Fox Farm to know how this beer tastes fresh, super fresh. So I'm just going on what I'm drinking right now, but it does taste like an old double IPA. It really does. It's not bad, though. It's not like, I mean, I got to watch what I drink, and I can only drink so much, but I'll finish it. Yeah.
Keith, I know you don't drink a ton of the hyped IPAs. That's not your bag. They're not smoky enough for you, but any thoughts about IPAs and their freshness?
I know I've had I think we talked about a little bit at Beer Tuber Palooza about like breweries that release beer and then they're like, oh, well, don't drink it for a few weeks. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of a different topic, but like I was going to say I've had beers that I've gotten super fresh, and even like a week or two, they're still like super green and not enjoyable, whatever. But then you have it like a month or two later and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like some beers, I don't understand the science or the thing, but some beers you need that time. But the other thing I was going to say is I've had, well, it's kind of the same thing. Like I've had months old beer or IPAs specifically that have been actually really enjoyable as well.
Yeah. And I did want to bring up that point about some of those breweries that release maybe too early, or should they be more vocal, like, hey, let this sit for a bit. I just wanted, because I know Matt wants the back cleanup, so let me get the comment too, so you can truly do it. Yeah. Obviously, we were all really excited, as Joe was finally able to have the surgery and recover, and let alone fill up to, doing stuff like joining us at Beer Tuber Palooza and this live stream. I try to drink them super fast, but I heard some brews sit well, like Hot Butcher, and some need to sit. Yeah, I think, Ross, that's going to be one of the things we land on. Is sometimes it depends on the brewery, sometimes it depends on the beer specifically. Sometimes there's a huge window of awesome drinkability. Sometimes it's a smaller window. Joe?
The one thing I want to touch on before Matt goes into his, I think he called it a spiel that he had going on. I think this train of thought, the whole sitting for weeks or like sitting on a can that didn't used to be a thing. I think when the hazy style, the New England style specifically, kind of came to the forefront, that's when you heard a lot of let it sit in a can. It's too green. I wasn't drinking Lagunitas IPAs, in 2012, and people were like, dude, dude, let it sit for 4 weeks now. They were like drinking super fresh, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's specifically over the last, say, 3 to 5 years, and specifically the last couple, that's been something that you hear a lot more, at least in my opinion.
It definitely, at least in my world, started as more of the New England style,
Yeah.
kind of mindset. Yeah. Hello, one true king, Mr. Beers, or rather, who done it? Yeah, and I think that the fight-ins, because I did one on my channel, super fresh, different beer than you guys had, and yeah, I was like, oh, this is my least favorite one from that drop, but the other ones I had a week or two later, and I think that actually was why they were better. I know you guys had a similar experience. Cheers, Josh. So Ross, it's kind of what Joe was just saying. Like, I like to, I'm not the only one who likes to pick on Trillium, for example. They were like the first one I was aware of where I'd have one of their hobby beers super fresh, and it was like green vegetal, like that hop burn thing. Like, or did you just like mow your lawn and put grass clippings and then drink the IPA kind of thing? And so, some people it would say, well, breweries that are have canned a beer like that probably shouldn't put it on the shelf that day. Maybe they should, keep it in a cooler for a couple weeks till that dies down. Because really, at least in my experience, after a couple weeks, you're probably fine. But like that's an important week or two, maybe even 3. Hope that makes sense. Have been digging stuff from John. It's nice. All right, Matt, floor is yours.
Yeah, I think hoppy beers don't keep on the shelf well. Back to you guys. No, but seriously, like it's my stance on the whole thing has been like when you talked about the OG stuff that everybody's talked about here, and I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff you guys touched on, which is, back in the day, like, your headies, your second fiddles, your sips, and all those kind of things. When you got them hyper fresh, there was this kind of bonus to them, and because it was also new. It wasn't like a thing that was like really something that people really dealt with back then. And once hoppy beers became a thing, freshness became paramount in a very good way. It was like, okay, let's get fresh beer to people so they can drink it. But then it got to the point where like the fresher it was the better it was, which was never the case in general. Like it wasn't like because it was fresh, it was good. It was just so happened those beers that were made that way were better when they were fresher. So, but then it basically became, doesn't matter if it has hops in it, the fresher it is, the better, which worked for a certain extent for a lot of the hazy IPA producers that came after those OG New England breweries, like Other Half and shit like that. But then it almost came like a challenge. Like if it's fresh, that means your beer is good, regardless of taste. You know what I mean? Like, this is 5 days old, so that makes it fucking fantastic. So it got to the point where like the tail started wagging the dog to a point where it was like, okay, it doesn't even matter if the beer is good. It's fresher, so that means it's good. It's better because it's fresher. And then people basically, but breweries actually started to clue in on that. So I think breweries actually started to be like, okay, these people want shit hyper fresh. They don't care if it's green. They just want it as fresh as it could be. Why keep it in a tank an extra 5-8 days? Let's just can it and put the onus on them to age it. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, hey, they want it hyper fresh. Let's give it to them. Sludge, fucking particulate. We don't give a shit. Just put it out there in the world. And then they're like, wait a minute. These people are shipping stuff too. So by the time they get it, pack it, ship it, get to the other person, that's going to take another 2 weeks. So maybe we go a little bit sooner on these. Maybe we kind of really kind of get the fermentation like super hyper quick and just try to pack it out and ship it up to the point where it's like some people are producing, basically are shipping out still not even drinkable beer. Yeah. But on the flip side of things, there's breweries that don't give a shit. You know what I mean? There's like breweries that are like, the beer's ready when the beer's ready. A lot of those old school breweries, Alchemist, stuff like that, when they release a beer, it's drinkable. It's never going to be, you're never going to get that hyper over the top, super green craziness on it. I think the same is for Fox Farm. Now, the funny part is that if Fox Farm played the game we're talking about right now, which is like releasing this beer where it's super hyper green tea, you can't drink it. When Joe's drinking it now, it probably tastes better. You know what I mean? So like there are benefits to doing those things to where you're playing that game. So your shelf stability down the road, especially if you're a hype brewery, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the person gets the beer 6 weeks old and it drinks like it's 2 weeks old. Well, no shit. Because they canned it when it was -5 weeks old. You know what I mean? Like, so that kind of thing. So it's like, but it's weird. It's almost like an ethos thing, like where some breweries like are just like, it doesn't matter if it's hops, fucking lager, barrel aged beers. Some breweries release the beer when it's supposed to be drank. Some breweries release it when it's supposed to be aged. Some breweries release it too soon. And it just comes down to what that brewery believes.
Yeah.
Also, to touch on the Fidens thing that you mentioned earlier, Kyle, like a brewery their size, you know, a lot of people are just like, you know, leave it in a can, or they could do it and, you know, leave it in and put it in coolers and whatnot. It's like, a place like that just doesn't have the room. So it's like, they want to keep on churning stuff out each week. They got to get rid of that stuff. And they're hyped and they know they will. So it's just like, that's probably not even a thought for them. You know, it's like, oh, we're just going to hang on to this beer for 2 weeks and let people drink it when it's ready. It's like, that's not even a discussion for them.
No, for sure. And it's not all the quote unquote hyped breweries that make those IPAs that are doing it, but they get a pass. They, you know, and not just, I'm not specifically talking Fidens, but like Trillium. I think a lot of people give them a pass. And I mean, we've talked about this again a lot on camera and off camera. They make good beer still, but their hoppy beers are just haven't been good, period. I love Trillium. Like for a long time, that was probably like my desert island brewery. Like you can pick one to drink from and be like, they do a good variety of beers. I like so many of their beers. I'm like, Trillium, for my money, they are kind of expensive, but for the volume and diversity, I was like, yeah, like, and now I'd be like, it's not even a thought that they would be my pick because their IPAs have been so bad. Well, all their hoppy beers for so long.
Yeah, I mean, watching Matt's those like back to back reviews, it was like they all looked the exact same. They all did the exact same thing in the glass. It was like their head retention was instantaneously gone. It was like fizzling like soda pop. It was like watching him pour the same beer over and over and it having the same result. It's just like, this is not good, which is crazy when you're talking about Trillium nowadays to a couple years ago. You know what I mean? It's just it's insane.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you look at that and it's like, you know, there's obviously like, you know, perception differences in time and space. Like, you know what I mean? When I drank a beer 5 years ago versus now, and versus when they made the beer versus now, and all those things, there's so many moving parts to beer. It's, you know, it is that art versus science thing. And when you dive into a beer and you kind of say it's not like it used to be, there's always a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. Like, is it me or is it them? To the point where you don't know if your palate has changed or the beer has changed or whatever. But no, Trillium's fucking changed. Like I'm not fucking like, you look at the fact, like you're seeing visual. I don't have to say, I could pour those beers and not talk anything and just be like, I just point at it and not say mime it. I can mime the review and be like, nah. And then people be like, yeah, that shit's fucked up. So, you know, it's there's so many moving parts. That's why it becomes hard to kind of critique. I guess that'd be the best way to put it. These kind of things.
No, it's fair. So this, Josh, is something I'm hearing more and more. The idea that breweries are basically releasing the same, I always just say IPAs, but obviously it could be double, triple, whatever, where it's like this, it's the same beer. Maybe they just listed the hops in a different order, but it's the same thing. Or it's it's just so similar, might as well be the same beer, something they've already produced. So I have heard this criticism, accusation, I don't know what the right word is, definitely more and more. And again, like conversations I know I've had with other people, like this idea of, we'll go back to Fidens, right? You know, because I live near them, are they as good as people are saying? Do they live up to the hype? And it's like, their stuff's delicious. It's no better than another hyped brewery, or probably even something that's a lot easier for you to get, because like that style, I don't know how you make it taste better than anyone has figured out at this point. So like it's just a bunch of breweries who have figured out here's how to, maximize the hoppy goodness without getting the hoppy astringency badness or whatever, right? Like you can only do so much, and a lot of breweries anymore. I mean, if we were having this conversation 4 or 5 years ago, that'd be very different. But today, a local brewery to you that no one's ever heard of could be making something easily as good as all these hyped breweries. Still a lot of garbage, don't get me wrong, but to me, this does relate back to your point, Josh, is do they just seem the same because you can only do this so many different ways? There's only so many hops, and then you invent a new hop, and then it's new for a bit, and other people, if it's a worthwhile hop, then more people get it and put it in, and I don't know. I'm rambling. That's how I know it's time to stop talking. Let someone else go.
No. It makes sense though, and I've always made the analogy that it's a different car with different options. You know what I mean? Like it's not a completely different style. It's like, like a lot of these IPAs are the same exact car, with little different options. This one has a sunroof. This one might have this, might have that. But here's the thing: as much as I want to sit here and because I kind of agree. You know what I mean, with Josh or whatever, about like how there's subtle little different variants. But I'm the guy who bought a car. I was like, I want this exact car. I want all these exact things, but I have to have leather seats and I have to have a sunroof. Like that was my prerequisite for the car. I'm like, I need those two things. I like a sunroof because I drive in the middle of summer, and I don't like cloth seats. So I get it. You know what I mean? Because it was the same car with different options. You know what I mean? Like that other car was shit to me. You know what I mean? Like it was the same exact fucking car, but it had slightly different options, and I did not want to fuck with that car. So, it's kind of one of those things where like those little subtle differences sometimes make a difference. So, I don't know.
I would also say two things for me is, number one, for me personally, it's hard for me to get excited about hazies anymore and like New England style, like to that level of hype. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh man, I gotta get my hands on this. It's like everyone's going. It's like, I know if I get my hands on it, it's going to be delicious, right? But like you're saying, how much more delicious than say some of the other half stuff I can get on the shelf now at Wegmans? Like, how much better is it going to be, right? To the point where should I seek it out? Should I trade for it? Whatever. Number two, to go back to Matt's point, I think one thing that kind of, not only the option thing, but I think the one thing that separates those hype breweries to some degree and the breweries that people go bonkers over, I think it's the quality and the consistency of the beers they're putting out. Because there's some breweries that will put out one or two beers that are just amazing, and then like the rest of their lineup, that's all right.
Yeah. Those
top tier breweries that get the hype or are well known usually are because they have consistency. Look at Trillium, look at Treehouse back in the day. They got hype because a lot of their stuff was delicious, consistently delicious. Now, maybe not so much in Trillium's, for them specifically. Treehouse, how many people pooped on Treehouse when they moved to the Charlton location from Monson, right? Didn't taste the same. And I can't speak to that because I didn't have like a fridge full of Treehouse like I do currently, but it's one of those things where, 6 months people were going, oh, it's trash. And then a year later, oh, no, they started to dial it in, right? Yeah. Like, it's that consistency thing, I think, is what sets the real good breweries apart from the lower tier ones, which is why, it's a shame that so many old school breweries like Lagunitas, who are consistently great, just don't have hype, and people just do their shelfies and whatever. We know they're great. Yeah. We know their price point's amazing, but, they're not hyped, so F them, I guess, right?
Their stuff's so good.
It is.
All right, back to the comments for a bit. I feel like we've hit them. Yeah, that's kind of my thought.
But that's the thing. Just touch on what Joe has to say. I don't get hyped for hazies, but when I have a really good one, I kind of freak out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not like I'm like, oh, this is a really good hazy. You know what I mean? I just my expectations are humdrum, but when I have a really good one, I'm like, holy shit, this is really fucking good. So the enjoyment, the love of that is still there. It's just it's so hard. It's like, it's like, you get beaten every day, and then every now and then you don't get beaten. That kind of thing.
Or it's like
Keith knows.
Oh, my chest a little bit.
So yeah, hope for a smoked meat, but then we get Keith.
Yeah,
that's
Keith,
when Keith will start really chiming in when that's his style.
Keith's the channel just
wait.
at that point. It's over.
Wait. Did Kyle just say queef?
Keith.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'd like to think he said that, but
Keith.
It is Kyle's channel. So
actually, I actually think that Hammerheart brewery that kind of closed but is still kind of around did a smoked IPA of sorts.
Did they close because of that beer specifically? They just closed. They were like, people were like, smoked it. That's how IPA. This is terrible idea.
Well, they did a lot of not a lot, but they always had whenever they were in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I never went there, but I'd look at their tap list every once in a while, and they always had one or two smoked beers. So I was like, oh.
Have you ever watched Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise,
yeah.
Those things like in the what do they call them? The things that would see the future crimes,
oracles or something.
There's somebody at Hammerheart that had fever dreams about what Keith wanted, and would just make them. So that's why, he's I think he's never been there. He's never drank a beer from them. He's never even come in the same state as them.
Hang on.
But Keith would go to sleep and just have a fever dream about smoked Grodzitskis, and Hammerheart be like, "We need to make a smoke Grodzitski."
I don't know if that was the same brewery, but I remember in the Facebook chat, someone put in this place does nothing with smoked beers, 4% lagers, and Keith's like, "Yeah, I'm going there this weekend," and he's like, "Where is it?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Where is it? You just said you're going there." He's like, "Yeah, I don't even know where it is."
That's when Keith went to Montana. So
yeah. He's just ready for all the smoke beers at all times.
King soon for sure. To Josh's point, I think that I think there's two factors to this. Joe mentioned one already. New facility, bigger facility, whatever. You got to take some time to dial it back in. Understandable. I get it. Home brewing. A home brewer who starts a brewery will tell you that it's not the same.
When you dial up recipes, it's definitely hard, no matter who
exactly.
you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then, so the same thing would be true of a smaller brewery expanding, bigger equipment. The same, fair enough. And then, obviously, then you just get your capitalism, supply and demand. Oh, I can get it more easily. Equilibrium sucks now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Since it's on the shelf and I can order and they'll mail it to my house.
It's on the shelf for $30 a four-pack.
I was just saying that's why they suck.
And they're all old months.
The price, we can. Yeah, the price
it's not.
Well, it's gotten better from what I've seen over the last 6 months. But when the pandemic first started and they did that, it was terrible. It was $32 for a double IPA that's $20 at the brewery. It was stupid.
It was bad. What's up, Mike?
Oh man.
Oh, both Nerd Sense guys.
Is it average size mic? Is that are we?
It's average size mic, yeah.
Average size mic.
What's up, Sean? What's up, Mike?
Hey,
all right,
what's going on?
We gotta talk about what you guys are drinking first, okay? So we gotta.
Sean looks like he's in some movie about to get murdered.
So
someone's just gonna walk through that door and just start strangling him or something.
Your quality is too good, Sean. It's too good.
Sean looks like he took a picture of his room and it made it the green screen behind him.
He's got a green screen of his own.
It's such a mess, so I just
room.
so I just have it blurred out. There's a bomb show back there.
That's
Mike, what do you? Oh, what's that called? Miller Low Life. I haven't tried that before.
That's not as good as PBR.
How you have? I sent you.
I have. It was wrapped in paper towels and it was delicious. Oh, Snackberry. Nice little.
We just reviewed it and then we got tied up in Batman conversation.
Yeah, I just got in here. So, Sean, how long did you Google the word Boca?
What?
Okay. He knows what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Boca?
Boca. Yeah, just that super blurry background thing. Anyway, he knows what I'm talking about. He's playing coy.
No, I really don't get it. Boca? I really don't. I'm going to Google it now.
Like
I
mouse in
Google
space.
Am I confused? Like
You've just like blown Sean's world up.
Yeah. Oh no, I just basically halted a whole live stream and made it awkward.
Oh,
Yeah,
photography. Yeah.
Ooh, the Ross comment, Kyle, is basically another.
Well, yeah, and yeah. So Joe met. Okay, so Joe, I really want to do that. Joe was pretty sure he can make this live stream. Joe really wants to talk about FOMO. So do I. That'll be a separate one for sure. Other people can be on it, but that's why Joe started leaning into it a little bit earlier. I just like didn't respond or acknowledge it at all because I didn't want to like. I don't know. It just seems like such a good topic. I don't want to.
Yeah, you want to have it be the topic.
Because Ross, I think that's such an interesting conversation.
But I do think FOMO does kind of come into. I'm not going to go into the conversation, but
You're right.
Fresh beers like that. FOMO is a very big factor in that conversation.
Which would be a good transition if we were doing it as a secondary. That'd be perfect to be like, yes, it goes into it, but it really does. Yeah, for sure. You're right. Spot on.
I mean, we can. Joe, I don't want you to feel like.
Dude, it's your channel. You do whatever you want, Kyle.
We'll do a separate one. I think that because like we could branch off and talk about whatever for this topic. I think FOMO. I think we could talk about that.
Maybe for that video we can try to get the most hypest beers that we can get our hands on and drink them during that live stream.
I'm gonna show back to dry hop cream ale.
Dips on cream ale.
Dry hop cream ale. That's all. It's just the hardest beer to get.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out, in the summer, but now it's October, pushing it back, making the demand even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Genesee,
Manufactured hype is what that's called.
Hopefully, it's not trash this year because I didn't try it last year, so I need to get on it.
I have a quick thought about this question that Josh is posing. What are your guys' thoughts on the heavily fruited smoothie seltzers? They're love good. Them because it ends the conversation. Is this a beer or not?
Yeah.
And
he's talking about fruit smoothie seltzers, not smoothie beers.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I love them because they're not beer at all. So no one in my comment section will be like, "That's not a beer," and then I won't have to waste my time responding to them. So I am all in on the fruited seltzers because leaves no opening for "is this a beer" conversations.
So despite is it a beer?
It's literally just juice. It's probably a little bit healthy for you.
Well, what I don't like about it, because I've had about a half dozen of actually the fruit smoothie seltzers, is I do not like the ridiculous carbonation, which is more so than if you get a heavily fruited beer. Like the carbonation, because it's a seltzer, is crazy on the back of your palate and like your throat. So I still prefer the beer form. I guess it's good for people who say it's not beer.
I haven't seen any. Really,
I had one. We actually just got some from your area. Joe Froth, I think, is making them now, and they distributed maybe last week some beers here. They're popping up. They're starting to pop up as a style more and more. Well, we did that one already. Agreed. Always there are standouts. Yeah, there's always for sure. There's always standouts. FLX are saying hello to the Nerd Sense guys. Very nice. Very nice. Assume Boca's like those Boca burgers, isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And
Smooge. That's the one that Joe. I was supposed to say Kyle. The imprint one that was ridiculous.
You mean wasn't that the Froze one or?
But it was still a smoogie, right?
No, Smooge is different than Smoogie.
Smooch is from Michigan. It's from Holmes Brewery. They're like offshoot where they just ended up doing that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So interesting story. When I was in Saratoga Springs a couple weeks ago, I was in the middle of nowhere at this tavern. They had Smooch cans. So I got one, and it was delicious. But it's not a beer, right? It's not. It's an actual seltzer. But that was the only heavily fruited seltzer that I actually enjoyed. It was delicious, but I couldn't believe it was in the middle of nowhere. I was like, a year ago, people were like waiting in line for this stuff. Like what the hell just happened?
I don't know Humble Forager though. I'll have to look that one
Yeah,
up.
I've had some of their stuff, and it's the same thing, like that big huge hat, like actually not even big huge, like crazy level, like smoothie beer, which has always bothered me because it's like Humble Forager. It's like someone opened like a restaurant that said like fair trade free range food, and it just gave you like crack. And be like, but like, doesn't make sense. Why Humble Forager? You're giving me Oreos in beer form. Like, you're not humble. You're not a forager. I'm not quite sure what's going on right now.
I tell you what, I just looked at their website. I am shocked based on their labels that they would do style like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of cursive, right? It's a lot of cursive writing and shit. Yeah.
Isn't there stuff contract brewed in Wisconsin? I'm pretty sure it's contract brewed in Wisconsin. I don't think they have like their own brewery even. Almost positive anyway.
Let me show people I'm talking about. Is this?
Oh, I was just gonna Google it, so it's easier. Yeah, I guess if you do it.
Did I do that right? You guys can see this?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
See what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't look. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, pastels and cursive doesn't scream fucking junk smoothie. Yeah.
Like the froth ones out by you, Joe. That label, that makes sense to me. That would be what the liquid in the can is versus this Forager one. That's interesting.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what do you expect from a can, from a fruit smoothie beer? I think like Monster mixed with Mountain Dew. That's kind of what I expect from like a fruit smoothie can, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I expect delicious beer from those cans.
Like
I'm gonna try the hard Mountain Dew when it comes out, and I'll mix it with something. Kyle, is that Bomber's Peak? Oh no, that's not what it looked. Not even close.
That was a muckraker from Keith.
Oh, it looked like Keith. So I have a couple cans of that. Like,
was that the stevia, Keith? Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Keith, I do have a bottle of the River Horse, like the wheat ale, right?
Milk pour.
It's the
Milko pour.
Like the bourbon barrel aged whip beer or whatever it is.
I think I have that downstairs. Yeah, because I was just looking.
Yeah.
Kyle, I think you need to put that. Yeah, that was a horrible pour, buddy.
No, it's a proper Milko pour.
That's Muckraker's fault, not Kyle's fault.
I'll just hold it in front of my face till it goes away, and you can see my face again. We'll just.
You're white already, bud.
White AF for sure. Yeah. Too funny. No, I could also, like, from their labels, like I said, like saisons and things like that. But I could see them also, and again, like that. I don't know. I guess the can artwork shouldn't dictate my thoughts of what kind of liquid they'll make. But yeah, it doesn't seem like the kind of place that would do heavily fruited sours. But I could see stouts.
Why are we not getting some beautiful Keith partner Katie action up in this piece? Like, she's just off camera, just nothing.
Yeah, she just got home from work. Okay? I don't know what his problem is.
I think
He's probably reached his critical mass.
So, she's not gonna scoot up and like just take a sip of that Drownlands. Come on now.
I think it is old. I'm getting a slight butterscotchy thing right on the back end.
Beautiful.
It's like the aftertaste. I got this like Werther's Originals thing in my mouth.
What is
Sean, your bokeh is so hard. Your left arm is blurry, your right arm is not, but your face is kind of in focus.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not actually. This isn't actually a photograph. This is literally my background. It's just blurred.
Are you doing that through StreamYard, or are you doing that through something else?
Nah, it's a camera setting.
Yeah, it's my work video conferencing unit that I can use as a camera and all that stuff.
Oh.
And I do this because when I do video calls on camera, as you can see, the background looks like shit. So it makes me look somewhat professional.
So for both you, Sean, and Mike, Josh A in the chat is drinking the Vale's 90-minute version. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Tasty.
Oh wait, where'd it go?
Yeah.
Kyle keeps on.
Oh, I clicked it.
Oh.
Oh, were you clicking at the same
I
time?
didn't realize anyone could click the comments. I thought I was the only person hosting. Interesting. Okay.
You've lost
No,
control. Kyle.
no,
You've lost complete control.
I can end broadcast right now. Come
I
on
can
now.
Nice. Josh, what do you think of it? I need to know.
And be honest, because that shit was trash.
To be fair, how long ago did you guys drink that? Was it like 4 or 6 weeks ago, something like that? Now it's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. Do we have
Maybe
cameras?
just needed some age. Just needed some age, guys.
Yeah, but we had one and then had it again a few weeks later, and it was just as bad.
Yeah.
We have a
I
can.
have a can. I haven't had it yet.
Oh, right. No, you had the last can. We gave it to you, right?
Yeah. In my mind, I was
in my
going to get a
fridge.
regular.
So you should go
I watched
get
the-
Dogfish this weekend and do a side by side.
I watched the side by side. You didn't seem to hate it that much, right? Or am I misremembering?
Oh, they were not fans.
They-
Side by side we did, or the side by side we made our friends do.
The side by side you did. I remember you saying it wasn't the same. Am I misremembering? I might be.
You might be, because I remember specifically. I think Mike wanted to punch someone. I'm pretty sure he was
Sorry,
very
Kyle,
angry about it. He's very angry.
Don't touch it. I clicked
You
it.
got to let the producer produce. I know the second Sean came on, I knew that he was going to take over everything and the aesthetic of it.
I just remember
Hold
shooting.
on, I'm going to move myself up here. All right, we're good.
I just remember. I just remember
And
shooting
Sean
one
prefers-
review in the murder Airbnb, and then Sean watching Mike do the exact, or Dan do the exact same thing. He goes, "Is this how I am?" Yes, Sean, it is.
Yeah,
It
you're
is.
right,
It
it
always
is.
will be.
Well, I mean, is it going to storm?
Flashing back control.
Is it going to storm?
So, I
I
mean,
not. I don't know how to answer this.
So I have a question. Are breweries or people or whatever who release beer too early that isn't ready to be drank, are they bad people?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is gonna go to Trillium again.
But
I'm gonna stand up for them on this one.
Oh,
JC has said multiple times he does release things early on purpose because he knows that there is trading involved and he wants to make sure that there's time so that the people
Yeah,
that-
but if you release shit,
Bullshit.
it's not going to get better with
Bullshit.
time. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but I
The
think
only-
there's a pro there
the
and
only-
con there.
no, there is, and we covered that earlier. If you guys showed up on time, you would have heard that. But the other thing is, like there's long haul aging breweries. You know what I mean? Like the breweries, you're like, okay, I'll set this aside for 15 years. You can't expect a fucking brewery to, age 15 years. So there's exceptions to the rule, but Trillium is not one of them.
And I'm talking strictly IPAs, not like barley wines and stuff.
Oh no, we're talking about everything.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I was specifically hazies, and not even just specifically hazies, not even West Coast style.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with Trillium right now. If it's 1 day old or 30 days old, it's garbage.
Oh yeah, no, that I'll definitely agree with. But if we're talking about pre,
That's what I'm saying. Like you'd be like, yeah, you gotta let my IPAs rest for 2 weeks. Be like, it's not gonna help, buddy. Sorry.
well, it's like when sometimes cans will say like roll first, whatever. Like maybe some of these
fuck
breweries should
that
be
noise.
like,
No, if a can tells me to do calisthenics before I drink it, fuck that can.
You know what the breweries I like are like Fox Farm to say keep cold and drink fresh, right? And then they don't have a can date.
Yeah.
It's like, am I supposed to magically just imagine when this was freaking canned? Because
the Fox Farm I got from Steven has a can on date on it.
this one does. I wasn't shitting on Fox Farm. I'm just in general saying I hate breweries like that. No, they have a date on this. It's old, but it's there's a date.
So the thing is, drink fresh with a can on date is kind of like, okay, yeah, here's our beer. Drink fresh with a Best By date is fucking heretic. It's fucking insanity. Drink like Best By dates are worse than no dates. You know what I mean? Like I could put fucking Best Buy like fucking 19 billion years from now. Like Best Buy dates are the worst. Best Buy dates are the worst.
Especially since Best Buy doesn't mean anything other than Best Buy.
Yeah, like
it's like Costco. It's like Costco. I love you.
Well, it's like if you buy eggs and there's a Best Buy date, it doesn't mean you can't eat eggs after that date. It's just they're probably Best Buy that date. You can eat them a week later. Probably not going to be as good. I don't know. Maybe they will.
What's the fucking date? Like, what's a Best Buy date?
Yeah,
like, what's a Best Buy date?
It's
like
I think
3 days, 3 months, 3 years, 3 millennia.
From numerous peoples. If you can put a Best Buy date on, then you can also, or instead, put the can/bottle on date. If you have that ability, then you have ability to put the can on date. So what is the point not doing it? I don't understand.
And I don't know what's worse, like the people that put like a Julian code. Like you're gonna make me like Google how to figure out when your can on date works.
Shout out to Lagunitas.
Yeah, at least with Julian code, you get a little bit of like Da Vinci Code, National Treasure shit going on. But like when nobody puts anything on a can, it's like,
oh,
it's almost like they're trolling. They're like, oh, we hope people buy this at a date. That's what I think of. Like when there's no date, I'm like breweries are like, okay, we don't want this to be old, but maybe somebody will buy it.
It's just if you do that though and put drink fresh on it, I feel like I want to kind of slap you just for that. Like you're telling me to drink it fresh, there's nothing on the can. I don't even know. Like I just need to guess.
So Drownlands doesn't usually date their cans or anything, especially when you buy them at the brewery. And this is what this says.
Nobody has the fucking ability to do it, and they're just like, screw you.
I feel like that's trolling. Like right there is trolling.
It's 100% trolling.
They might as well just written, I'm trolling you on it.
Well, that's Drownlands, though. You know what I mean? Like that brewery literally exists from like an Excel spreadsheet in a conference room. Like it was like no, straight up like a home brewer opened a brewery. His brewery sucked. He saw all these other breweries doing well and said, well, I guess I can't make it that way. Close this fucking his brewery, and then opened a brewery that was hip with cool shit that made cool hip styles. And that's fucking Drownlands. That's literally the fucking business plan of Drownlands. Like the dude had a brewery to the point where if you were to interview the owner of Drownlands, he's like, don't ask me about my previous brewery. It will ruin my brand. I don't want people to know I existed with that other brewery. Like you couldn't even fucking talk to the guy. Be like, so you had Pine Island. So what happened at Pine? No, you can't talk about Pine Island. Like it's all about this brewery. Like we have really cool music, like bartenders that are androgynous and pour lager, and everything's white and it's in a brick building. Like it's awesome. Like he basically said, fuck it. I don't want to make beer. I want to make a brewery that makes money. That's it. Drownlands. Enjoy it.
I will say they make very good. If you ever visit the brewery, they make very good buttered popcorn beer.
But they make really good beer. I'm not dismissing the fact that they make popcorn or beer, but it's also.
I was saying the fact that there's been diacetyl and.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know. I remember. Yeah. Keith, you bought a 6-pack or a 4-pack today.
I only bought it because it was $13. When am I gonna buy Drownlands for $13?
Why don't you buy Soul? Why don't you buy Soul then?
because
you have to go to Costco for that. I think now.
Okay, that's separatist.
Come on, just keeps trolling. Shut up, Keith.
Steve, I agree with you. The saga of Vale versus Dogfish had Dogfish wins yet again.
By a landslide.
I just love what Shaw puts up his arm. It's just all blurry. It's great. I love it.
I can get behind that.
I never had Schlafly Oktoberfest. Their pumpkin beer is one of the best.
I'm drinking it right now, motherfucker.
Oh, nice.
I had the first time last year, Polliners Oktoberfest. I really liked it.
Did you have the Fest beer or the Marzen?
Martin.
Or the Wiesen is, yeah, because they have the two different. Okay, you actually have the Martin. All right. Yeah, I have both of them. I think they're damn good. The Polliner ones for sure.
Yeah.
And relatively cheap too.
Yeah. I think I got a big ass can and a mug for like $10.
Nice. Can't beat that.
Nice. No.
Sean and Mike, any little tease what you guys thought of the Snackberry? Not to give the full review, but a little tease to your review.
It was as the can says.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay with that. Good tease. Good tease.
Oh man.
I liked the dry finish. I thought it was pretty dry. Drier than I thought it was going to be. Leave it at that.
If I remember correctly, it's a milkshake IPA, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's strawberry, pink guava, and vanilla.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Kyle.
It's just
I need to watch your review because I need to see your thoughts on the vanilla.
There we go with the Vanilla Police show.
It'll be interesting. It's just interesting to think of a milkshake IPA being dry at all. So that's why I reiterated what the style was. Yeah,
Especially a Hop Butcher milkshake IPA being dry.
Yeah, it was interesting. Is the best way to put it.
I always feel like their milkshake IPAs, the vanilla is crazy. So, yeah, is that what you're basically getting at? Is that
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty crazy because I think it's a combination of, especially if it has vanilla in it and then it has the lactose. Like that's just an overload.
Because when you drink like glazed orange or the double glazed orange, it literally is like an orange creamsicle because there's so much vanilla in it.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like I was expecting to be very cloyingly sweet based on the nose, and I said I was like, oh, it's pretty good, but I thought it was drier on the finish than I expected, and actually made it more delectable because I wanted to take sips. You know, it was nice. I liked it.
Violence.
So
What other topics we got, guys? What other topics?
yeah, so we had our one topic. I can keep going. How was everyone's day today? Good, yeah.
That was all right.
Thursday.
Yeah, that is the day of the week. It was
It is
Thursday.
Thursday. It was a little
There was
rainy.
weather outside.
Things
Mowed
happen.
the lawn.
Actually,
After it
I
dried
did
out.
think because we're going to have a good number of people who were at BeerTuber Palooza on this live stream. And it was brought up a little bit before, but just to have as big of an audience as possible, Joe, could you go over the first 10 minutes of us being at the Airbnb?
I could, but it's going to take longer than 10 minutes.
How interesting, in although, isn't it weird? Okay. How living 10 minutes could take so much longer than 10 minutes to explain the 10 minutes you experienced.
The 30-second interaction I had with the 10-year-old daughter of the owner felt like it was about 20 straight hours. Of just,
What sounds really kind of creepy sexual. Like
it was super creepy.
I had a 10-hour experience with a 10-year-old daughter.
I rolled up
you
there
understand.
and I was like, why are parents allowing a little girl out here? And you don't know who's showing up to your Airbnb. Like, you don't know who the person is. Like, it was Mike, the other Mike, not average Mike, the other Mike.
Average sized Mike, not average Mike.
I love how there's an average Mike now, not like it's not average Joe, it's average Mike.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Average Joe, I think, froze.
I was going to say, like, he just was like, he's
There you-
saving the story.
There you go. I'll get him back.
For his channel.
There you go. He's good now. I thought that was gonna work out. Like
That would have been so awesome if it did work. So, Joe and the FLX guys got to.
oh, Sean did it. Sean actually clapped and he came back.
I'm pretty sure she's inside my laptop right now, not letting me get this story out.
It's storming in there, brother.
Dude, it was
Don't talk about me.
the other Mike, FLX Mike, him and I to this day will always have a story to tell on how creepy it was when we walked up there. That's all. We looked at each other and we were confused, scared, didn't know what was going to happen. It was the greatest yet scariest moment of my life. It was fantastic. I'm just
It was Friday the 13th. Like,
It was Friday 13th. Yeah,
Like
so
we
a quick rundown of what happened. We rolled up to the Airbnb that Kyle, Sean, and Mike are staying at. They were staying on the other side, although apparently the owner had no idea. Like, they were oblivious to this happening. But we come up to the second driveway. There was a first driveway that was not a driveway. It was just grass and dirt and mud. So we didn't park at that one because we're like, that doesn't look like a driveway. So we go back to the garage that has 3 doors, and it looks like a driveway. As we pull up, Mike looks and goes, is there a little girl skipping in the yard? And I look and I'm like, yeah, no, there is. He's like, do we talk to her about the Airbnb? And I'm like, I hope not. Like, I'm sure there's somebody else that's going to be here. So him and I get up and we just start walking. And we're walking, slightly. We're looking at each other. We're like, do we approach her? Like, she starts approaching us. And we're like, okay, this is weird. She's making weird noises too. Like, she's singing to herself, doing art. She walks up to us and she's in the yard that's like, it's about a 6-foot drop. And she's like above us. And she just goes, what is the name of the residency? Like that, like straight out of like 1900 England. Like, it was crazy. And Mike looks at me like it was in my name or so. I'm like, I'm the surprise here, guy. This is your place. And he just goes, Mike, whatever his last name. And she goes, and then he goes, by the way, are we in the right driveway? And she just pauses 5 seconds and she looks around and she looks like right at me. She goes, do you know if it's going to storm?
That's my favorite part.
I hope. I sat there for a second. I said, I hope not. Like, I don't. Like, what am I supposed to say? So Mike just looks back at me like he's definitely afraid at this point, and I'm like, me too. Just hug me. And then she goes, you will go down the stairs and you will be in the door with the yellow awning. And I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here right now. So we just walked away. And I shit you not, this is not an exaggeration. As we are going down, she skips away and she's just going. I'm like, what is happening? I just looked at Mike and I said, there is a 50% chance we are going to die tonight. So we get inside, and then you guys show up, and then we do the surprise. Matt shows up. Well, first I see Sean and Mike, and they're just like dumbfounded, like, huh? Sean looked at me for like 5 seconds. He's like,
I did.
Huh?
You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm here. And then Matt comes in, he's like, what's up, dudes? And he just stares at me for like 5 seconds, same thing. Like, you can see him trying to process shit through his mind, and he just can't. He's like, dude, give me a hug. I'm like, I just went up to Keith behind him and smelled his hair, because clearly that's what you do with Keith. But then we
Keith
go outside.
was just like, hey, Joe, what's up? And cracked open a smoked beer. Like, Keith
that's what you expect out of Keith. So then we go outside and we're like all on the deck, the upstairs deck, and the woman's mother comes in, because now's the time you come and greet us, is when, there's not strangers, so it's, just whatever. She comes up, and Kyle, just Kyle being the he's super intelligent. A teacher, he's great. He tells them that we're there to drink beer. Like, that's the worst thing you could have done.
No, he didn't say that. He just said,
thank you, Sean, because the woman said, are you guys here for a farming convention or something? It's like, what? No, we're not here about farming. And she's like, oh, there's a lot of, so she started talking about all the farms. There's all these people moving in from the city for, to have these artisanal farms. And I'm like, no, brace yourself. This is kind of weird. We do beer reviews on the internet, and we're just meeting up. And then she said, like, a kegger? And it's like, no, we're not doing a keg party. And then she goes, like, Sam Adams. And I'm like, exactly. Exactly right.
Kyle, you did the worst job possible trying to explain. It was like 7 minutes of you just trying to beat around the bush.
7 minutes. I just said we do beer reviews on the internet.
All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. I'll see you guys all later.
Bye.
Bye,
brother.
But what I just butted in, and I was like, yeah, what he means is that we're kind of like wine enthusiasts or like, that, but we do beer. And she's like, oh, I get it. And I still don't think she did, honestly.
She didn't get it at all.
But what she did get is because Kyle said beer at any point in time, just because he mentioned beer, we weren't allowed to drink beer in the upstairs living room. It was the grossest. It's like, oh yeah, I spend $250 for a night, but you can't drink beer in the living room because
no, we couldn't drink together as a conjoined group. I think
that's right.
One of us, if it was just Mike, Kyle, and I,
you couldn't human centipede A beer.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
basically what
Now,
you're saying.
I wonder though if we said that we were wine reviewers, if she would have sent the same message.
I don't know.
No, she wouldn't have, dude.
But
That's what I was saying.
Contains
Like,
way
that's
more
why I
than
said.
beer.
That's why I said you're beer journalists moving forward.
Yeah.
When you spit that word journalist out, man, people like, man, they're impressive.
Or you just
Oh
don't
my
say
God.
beer at all ever, Kyle. Don't say beer. Just
You know
don't say
what?
beer.
I have a
Also,
lot of
like,
flaws, but being a liar is not one of them. I always
You
tell
should
the
have been
truth. So.
We're soda reviewers on YouTube, like whatever. But it would have been
I mean,
yeah,
pop,
yeah,
Buffalo.
soda pop. Yeah, that's all this thing.
Steven.
But it was the
Yes, you do
scariest
have
thing
a
ever,
problem.
by the way. It was the scariest thing ever, by the way. That murder house, murder Airbnb, whatever you want to call it. It was
What
brutal.
was the book again?
That's what I
How
was
not
just
to
going to add.
die.
Oh,
How
my
not to
God.
die.
How not to die. I stole it. And
Yeah,
also, my room downstairs is a huge room. A huge room. There's a single bed with 2 chairs in it. Meanwhile, Mike and Dan are in this little tiny room with 2 beds, including like an air mattress and a crib. I'm like, why is this room?
And no, there was not just a crib. There was also like a little kid bed too in there.
Yeah, it was so scary. But I'm like, why do you got all this in one room? Why not in this big room? And I thought, like, by the end of the weekend, like by Saturday night, there was like an 86% chance someone was dying. But we didn't. We made it out there. We made it out there.
it was weird. I started reading that book Saturday. That was Friday night, but Saturday night I started reading that book when we got back. And like chapter 1 was "Don't talk to the little girl," and chapter 2 was "Don't drink beer in my house." And chapter 3
I'm glad Steven survived. He slept over on the couch and nothing
Yeah.
happened to him. That I'm aware of.
Yep.
Other Joe was very smart when we started telling the story, and he's like, "I'm not drinking. I'm just gonna leave."
Yeah, he's like, dude, I haven't drank anything in like 4 hours. I think I'm just gonna go home. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, no, I'm positive. I'm like,
If I
oh.
woke up and Joe wasn't there, I was like, "Where'd Joe go?" Food and drink journalists probably would have raised no red flags.
Soon as Kyle said beer, she just assumed we were just gonna tear the place to just totally up, and it was gonna be bad.
Well, that's why I told her, I'm like, we're not drinking. Like the thing takes place at our friend's house tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't think she believed us.
No, she didn't care.
Well, to me, that is the creepiest thing. Is how did she know we were all drinking on the second floor?
Well,
It's
didn't
called
know
cameras.
because she sent the message to Mike
Yeah,
first, way before we started drinking.
I don't think.
Which was
so.
weird because we were the ones that booked the upstairs, and she sent it to Mike to not drink upstairs, even though he was sitting downstairs. And then she
It's
sent it
just-
to me like 45 minutes later when he didn't see it.
she was basically like,
Maybe
I'm
she
like-
realized she sent it to the wrong person.
Keith, don't have her back. No,
yeah.
No.
come on.
she was wrong and bad.
Maybe we all died in that house that Friday night, and this is just where we're stuck. This is purgatory or whatever.
I feel like I did leave a piece of myself at that murder house. Like, I'm pretty sure I did. Luckily, it's not my new valve. I still have that.
If purgatory feels like my life before, it's not bode well for my life.
There was also like Dan from FLX. He got up and went to the bathroom in the middle of the night on Sunday, and he was like, there was this huge insect like jumping around in the bathroom, and he's like,
cave cricket, man.
yeah. He's like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to do, but he goes, it went under the door towards Steven, so I said, F it. We told Steven that in the morning. Steven's like, okay. I'm like, why did you try to kill it? He's like, it went outside. I'm good. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, quote of the night. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a place I would not like to stay ever again. Let's just say that. It wasn't great.
It was so weird. It was
How do
so
you-
weird.
How do you like that beer, Kyle?
I like it. I'm glad I drank them in this order because this has that Brett in it, so it's a little. It's not as dry as I thought it was going to be though, which I actually kind of like. If it was a little drier, I've been fine with it, but it's not overly dry. I got it confused a little bit when I pulled it out. I was thinking like as dry as one of those Brett IPAs that thankfully went the way of the dinosaur, but. Yeah, actually, I like this quite a bit. I don't know if I've had anything from this brewery before.
Yeah, I have like a couple. I think I have a couple cans of that. Like, were we supposed to do a collab review of that at all? Or
I don't know. I was just giving it to people.
Listen, anything that happened at the end of Saturday night, divvying up beer, cannot be held accountable.
That's
Exactly.
valid.
Exactly.
There's,
Exactly.
there's no accountable. Like, yeah, that would a mess. Just like everyone brought enough beer. I mean, we had what 14 people? Was it even 14 people? And
12, right?
300 beers, 400. Like,
All I know is everything was cool until Joe showed up with like 5 cases of beer.
Yeah.
Everything was cool to that point. I just look and Joe's like, he's got like 2 cases he's carrying. He's like, I got 2 more, maybe 3. And I'm like, we didn't need another 120 beers, Joe, even though we appreciate it. That is true. So Steven leaves like through our downstairs door, and I went in my room to get changed or whatever. And I come out of the room, and Steven's coming back in. Like he's like, messing with the doors. He's coming in. I'm like, what? He's like, I forgot that Fox Farm beer in the fridge. And I was like, you just put my valve to like to the test. Like I was about to just. I was like, I thought I was.
Your chest, so
I thought the 86% murder rate was about to be 100. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll see you later, man.
Oh,
the good old days.
Did Matt
Missed
just
your tour Palooza already? Did Matt just Irish goodbye us?
Yeah.
Like I said, guys, for me, this is awesome that I'm on chatting with you guys because
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy you're here, Sean, even though you're blurry in the background.
I looked up Boca. It's not spelled how I thought it was going to be spelled, so it took me a second to find.
How's it spelled?
Bokeeh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like Boca. When he said Boca Burgers, I was like, I remember those.
I was like, he's like saying it like he's like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, no, I actually have no fucking clue.
Okay.
What is it?
It's just an effect, kind of like he has.
Yeah, I think I can change my background to something like a Boca.
It's like something's quite focused, and then everything else is just a little blurry. When I googled it, it was like really obvious. Like, I've seen that effect.
That's actually not bad. Oh, that's actually not bad. So that's actually weird.
So I meant to ask tonight, just because everybody was on, but now I kind of forgot. Do we have a? You're listen. You need to get the smooge out with that background. But when do we plan on doing that all beer, the all mystery beer? We is it going to be soon? You guys think?
Oh yeah,
right? It's tough for everybody because it's FLX plus everybody here.
Yeah,
Matt.
So it'll have to be a weekend.
Yeah, they have to coordinate their schedules. Mike and I have to be sure we're together. You and Matt have to be together. Keith.
Is anybody doing anything Labor Day? Monday is Labor Day.
I'm around Labor Day.
Are we talking later in the day or like early afternoon, mid afternoon?
Well, we don't really. I just realized we're still live.
First thing in the morning beer.
Yeah.
I think the people watching are really interested about our group text where we try to figure out the logistics of.
I mean, why not? They watched this long. They're clearly a glutton for punishment.
They're like, how do they perform this magic where they come on our YouTube and I get to watch 4 screens like the Brady Bunch and they discuss things and
magic's awful.
What if we went through the beer chat and we found like conversations and then did live streams and reenacted them?
That would be funny.
It would have to be on your channel, Keith. Yeah, that's all I know. Your channel.
That's not going on my channel.
I want to show the behind the scenes of the mystery beer you released today.
Oh, the PBR one?
Oh my god.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh.
Interesting. All right, Steven.
Okay. That's good.
I like how he says. And by the way, Steven, I personally appreciate the box you gave me that was meant for Paul, which I just stole because he didn't come. But I'm probably going to only review half of those beers. Kyle said you're okay with not reviewing everything just because some of the stuff is old. And I'm like, reviewing a Fox Farm beer for the first time ever and the can's 4 months old, probably not fair to them, type of thing. So,
yeah, that's fair. All right. I'm going to sign off, I think. Although everyone, apparently, I learned that today. Everyone has the power to end this broadcast. So thank you, Matt, for just leaving and not ending the broadcast unexpectedly. But that was Matt from Acid Beer Reviews who just leaves.
Didn't even say anything. Was that like his Irish goodbye again, as he said?
We got some drama. How dare you?
How dare you?
I'm not
In
going to
fact-
click the next comment.
I
Yep.
already drank 2 out of the box without reviewing them, but I gave them quick Instagram reviews.
Here's the thing, Steven. I'm going to review all of them on camera at once by pouring them down my drain and just filming it.
No, mix them all together. Mix them all together and then review that whole thing.
Is
Yeah,
that the mega coolvie? Is that what it is?
Too funny. Cheers, Josh.
Cheers, Josh.
Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Everyone who watched, thank you live or after the fact. Appreciate it so much. Make sure if you don't subscribe, you check out Matt at Massive Beer Reviews. The guy is at Nerd Sense, Keith at 93 Lumber, Joe at the Beer Patrol. And again, next week, right, Joe, you're going to have your live stream and kind of dive more into the future of your channel.
That is the plan. I'm going to do it like a live vlog. People can ask questions. Go recap the surgery.
Wait, we join or we just ask questions?
No, you're not. I'm not letting you on my channel.
Oh, wow.
Mike can come, though, because he's average Mike. He's cool.
Ridiculous. Cheers. Cheers, Steven. Again, I hope you're having a good day,
Steven.
dude. We appreciate it.
Thanks for everything,
Bye,
Steven.
guys.